Alrighty, folks, we had a great conversation with Daniel earlier where he talked about his journey to financial independence from real estate. We heard about starting in Indianapolis with single family homes, moving to Hawaii to flips, which became Burrs, and now closing out with strip malls and office in Kansas City. What I want to ask him now is I saw a video with Ryan Pineda, I think it was a year ago or so, where this young man spent 100 grand on one-on-one mentoring, coaching, direct access to Ryan Pineda. So I'm curious, Daniel, what did you see? Why did you do it? Let's start there, because stroking a six-figure check is not for most people. What was it about that made you say yes? This is worth the risk.
It's funny because when I first started real estate investing, I was really into bigger pockets, reading books. I was like very self-educated, and I was super anti-coaching. So I was like, why would I ever pay somebody money for something where I could just figure it out for free? And literally, just about anything you need to figure out as far as information is available online, whether it's a book, a podcast, or like articles or forums or at your local RIA. And so, number one, I think like you're never like if you can pay for education for information, but that's like the first level of mentorship.
Sure.
But long story short, over the years, as I've continued to progress as an investor and as a small business owner, then like the network is like what I realize is what's kind of like supercharging or continuing to kind of boost me to the next level. So it's like network and inspiration and then making key and pivotal decisions and accountability, motivation. Those are the things that are really like moving the needle forward as opposed to just information.
It's funny you used a word in that which makes total sense to me, right? You talked about Daniel the investor, but more importantly, you said Daniel the small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And being a small business owner, it certainly is important to get around other small business owners. And sometimes getting access to that means you got to pay up to get in the right rooms and around the right people. Because if you're going to be a small business owner, the downside of mistakes is bankruptcy, right? So I think it makes total sense that, again, we talked about Rich Dad Poor Dad in the first video. You went from being an individual employee to an investor, and now you're a small business owner. So it's about leverage, about understanding tax write-offs, bonus depreciation, all of those things that you get from being around the right people. So that makes a ton of sense to me.
So I think it was an evolution, right? Because when I first started, I was a W-2 employee, kind of working part-time real estate investing. It was kind of like almost like a hobby, like, it's on the side. Okay, start to make money. Eventually, real estate investing, like portfolio, etc. Even that, when you have like one rental, technically you really are a business owner, but we won't get into that. But I mean, like that, as soon as the portfolio started to grow, we started to hire like a team member, start to get employees, and then like the responsibility and like the potential continues to also grow as well too. So as that's growing, then like now like the bigger the opportunities, the more like you need like the guidance or the help to kind of supercharge it. And the way I like to see like the mentorship or the coaching is if Ryan Pineda can get me from what I would make from like, let's say like at the time I think we were making about $1.5 million gross in like our company, like flipping and stuff. And so if you can take me from 1.5 to, let's say, and I know I'll get to here, is just let's say 5 million. That's like the next few years, right? And so I know I'll get there eventually, but then if you can speed it up and make it that take, let's say, 1 year as opposed to like 4 years, that's worth a lot of money. And so like I'm paying for speed along with relationships and kind of guidance on that, where because like my goals are there, the budget for the education or the mentorship at that point in time, it fit into like what our goals were.
No, it makes total sense to me. Again, it's a big number. I use it to be shocking on purpose. But at the end of the day, when I make investment decisions in myself, I always ask myself, is this going to help me 10x something? Right? If I'm going to put in $1,000 or 10,000 or whatever, am I going to get 10x the value? That's kind of how I look at this. So again, using your numbers, if you're going to sign up for 100 grand for a year of one-on-one coaching, it's like, hey, is Ryan going to help me deliver $1 million? Because that's an easy trade. I don't know it's funny. Brian Pineda and I talk, I don't know, once every 90 days or so in Vegas. And he just put out a short where we talked about the difference between a small business owner and an employee, right? I was playing the employee. He was the business owner. And he goes, dude, all you employees, me, sell time for money.
Yeah.
Me as the business owner, I want to pay money for your time.
Yeah.
And it's just a total different mind shift. And he is certainly a small business owner, and I still see myself as an employee. So it's just that little mindset. So you've been in the program one on one. You've just told me you re up for the third year.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're getting millions of dollars in value. Do you see that?
I definitely see it. I think in 20 whatever the first year, was it 23 or whatever that we signed up, the market kind of shifted. So then like I think he did save us from some like some this, and then some decisions that could have cost me a lot of money. And so it's not
Yeah.
always money made, but it's also money saved.
Saving you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I
When the market pivoted, Ryan took some lumps. So being
yeah.
able to share that with you and prevent you from taking said lumps, that's helpful.
Well, I mean, like not well. He kind of shared it in retrospect for the lumps, but just advice and like the decisions we made during that time. We made like small pivots where we probably like so we made the same as we did the previous year. So I was bummed like how we did terrible, like because we're not growing. But then in retrospect, looking at the market, I'm like, actually, I think
You
we
did
did pretty
really
good
well.
compared
Yeah.
to like the rest of the market. So it was technically like a growth year, for us. And so,
No,
but
I know plenty of folks. Again, I talk to 3 or 4 big operations every week on my channel, and a lot of them had horrible Q1 and Q2s. We're talking 6 and 7 figure losses because they got addicted to the flipping when the market changed and
yeah.
rates shot higher, and they were just left holding a bag. So um, some of them went, some people went out of business and went bankrupt in
Yeah,
that
I know.
pivot.
Actually, I know a few of these guys, and so
Yeah, yeah. All right. So you the first year he saved you, second year, third year, again, Ryan Pineda is helping you with your small business grow. It's really speed, right? That's what he's
yeah.
giving you is speed.
It's like it's actually like so in the initial thought process was I was paying for speed, but then after being in the coaching, like there's a few other things that's happening. Number one is it's increasing my ability to dream or think bigger. And like you
Wow.
don't realize like its limiting factor until you cross it. That's the crazy thing is so limiting beliefs are not limiting beliefs until you pass the limiting belief, then you realize it actually was a limiting belief. So like I think when I first started, like my goal in as a W-2 was to make $100,000 a year, and my limiting belief was I could just make 100,000. Like like right now, my limiting belief is I think I can make at max like $10 million a year. I think that's my max. Like I don't believe I can make more than that, but that's obviously a limiting belief where it's possible. But then I haven't mentally crossed that barrier yet, and we haven't really hit that. I'm just saying like that's my belief,
Yeah.
and
It's
then
funny you bring that up because that is a very untalked about superpower. I believe there are people like Ryan who have this superpower of just seeing the world is almost everything is possible.
mhm.
I am like you, and I'm not even at your level. My limiting, I don't see the world that way. I definitely have limiting beliefs that AKA hold me back. So talk more about that, about how getting past some of that is so valuable.
And so I mean, just like it adjusts like your North Star. And I think like depending on where your goals are, like you're gonna kind of like rise or fall to where you think your ceiling is. So
Mhm.
just I think being in that environment and just like spending a lot of like this time with him, and I also get to like I'm basically paying for like a friendship, I'd say, like end of the day. Like, it's
Mhm.
like the thing is like you want to get into like these rooms with some of these very successful guys, but you have nothing to offer them. So
Right.
it's like, why would they want to hang out with you or why want to help you out or coach you? And so like the only thing you have to offer when you're at this my level is just money I can pay. So I'm basically paying to just be in these rooms, have these conversations, have this advice, and then along with the one-on-one is I don't just get access to Ryan, but I also get access to some of his friends or his
Yeah.
network, guys like yourself. So like it kind of opens up these other doors that I normally wouldn't have access to because of like but I just have to pay for it, right? And because in the beginning you don't have any value to add. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna give him like teach him anything. So obviously it was a way for me to kind of get my foot in the door to kind of get exposed to like a new network.
Yeah. And again, one of the things about Ryan is his network is constantly growing as well. So again, being in that circle is going to give you access to more and more stuff. I see complete value in self-education to begin with. Kind of know you got to figure out where your lane is. When you get to your point where you've quit your job and now you have a growing small business, makes total sense. But I got to tell you this, this is definitely a weakness of mine, is not thinking big.
Mhm.
And getting someone like Ryan who just sees the world in almost technicolor
Yeah.
is
I think
pretty cool.
it's like he's so like, I think whenever he's like a great salesman on just like what's possible, like, and so like when you talk to him, you're like, he's like, you don't believe that, like, you're an idiot, like, like it's just matter of fact. A lot of times he's like, you guys are idiots, like, you don't see it. And like the thing is, like, he's very straightforward, which I super
Yeah.
appreciate. Like, the very first time that we had our coaching, like our one-on-one coaching, right, it's an hour. I brought, hey Brian, here's my business. We make 7 figures a year. Like, here's what it is. We have this employees. I broke it down. He's like, dude, your operation is terrible. He's like, there's so many things wrong with it. And so I really appreciate the candid response and just like
Yeah.
the things he brings, But the thing is, he's like, he just like literally believes, like, why are you thinking like this? And like, when he breaks it, like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. But it takes some time because before it actually translates from your head into like your actual belief
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. Your
But
head to your heart. I call that your head to your
yeah,
heart. Yeah.
but the more that like somebody is just like, they just 100% believe in it, it's almost like you're borrowing their faith for yourself. So I think that's been really helpful, just to get around, like, dude, like, if you're an idiot if you don't believe this, like, like, I'm showing it to you right now. Here's all you got to do, is very simple. Here's like the math. Here's what you got to do. And so that's
Yeah.
been like really helpful to just kind of like get us to like to see bigger opportunities.
Yeah, and again, you're clearly seeing value, right? You just signed up for your 3rd year, so again, 3 times 100 is 300 grand, right? That's not chump change, but it really speaks to the fact that he's helping you and helping your business speed, avoid mistakes, grow more. Um, I think he offers, like, anytime I speak with Ryan is always eye opening, because I just think he sees the world differently than I
He
do, and
does. Yeah, he
I'm
does.
trying to like I'm trying to like look through his lens, like, what do you how do you see that? And I appreciate any time I get with Ryan. He's a lot of fun.
The thing too is, like, he's upped his game over the last 2 years. So like, whenever you find a coach, and like I'd say, like, the first year that we signed up, he was at a certain level, but we had some challenging times. I kind of like got to experience it with him as he shared like different things. But over the last 2 years, he's constantly leveling up his businesses, his ideas, his different things, and he's always like ahead of the market, I feel. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of like having like the insight coach into like where things are going, and like having a head start. And so for that's like that information, or like that relationship, is super valuable in my opinion.
Very cool. Well, let's close this out. I'm just curious, how often do you get to speak? Because again, you're in Hawaii, he's in Vegas. Are you guys talking weekly, every other week, monthly? What's the
Once a month.
communication like?
The commitment is once a month for an hour. Sometimes, like, if he's free, we'll grab food after or something. It just depends on like or we'll go golf, whatever. But
Yeah.
basically, I fly up there for every session just because I want to make the most out of it, as far as like
So just so I'm clear, you fly to Vegas at least once a month.
yeah, I do. I'm there. I
Okay.
mean, like, it's not a bad place to fly too, right? So like,
No,
there's
no, it's from Hawaii. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. Well, you know what? Do me a favor. Let me know next time you're coming out. Maybe we'll do some more stuff together. I'm in Vegas at, a little bit more than half the time, so
okay.
that'd be fun. But where should people follow you? I know you've got an IG and a YouTube channel. What are those?
Yeah, so on Instagram, you can follow me at Daniel Kong 808, and the same handle, Daniel Kong 808, on YouTube. So yeah,
Very cool,
got a
buddy.
small podcast, a few followers and stuff, and so yeah, come check us out.
There you go. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.